His eyes stopped the moment he spotted the fan standing in the front row, leaning up against the barrier. He quickly looked around for a member of staff who was around to help, but the whole of the bottom stage was clear of any assistance. He knew his line was coming, but his eyes couldn't focus as he watched the young fan try to catch their breath. He looked back momentarily at the boys who continued to perform, making the snap decision to jump down from the stage. The screams instantly grew louder as he came close to the fans, only building the anxiety more around the fan he had his eyes on. His sudden decision finally brought staff around him, but he refused to listen to their calls. He stopped directly in front of the fan, kneeling down so they could see him, and hopefully calm down a little bit. You failed to realize anything that was going on, until you realized the reason the fans had gone wild was you. Tears streamed down your face as you met Jhope's concerned eyes, desperately trying to stop yourself from panicking further. "It's alright, just breathe with me," he smiled, inhaling a deep breath. You used the sleeves of your merchandise shirt to wipe away a few of your tears, as Jhope stayed in front of you. You were fully aware of everyone watching you at this point, but Jhope paid no attention to any of it, aside from you. "You are alright, just a little panicked. Take some deep breaths, and you'll be alright." He was careful and cautious around you. He knew it could have made things a whole lot worse if he approached you, but he couldn't leave you panicking. Once he'd spotted you, he just couldn't walk away and leave you there. "Don't worry about anything else and just focus on me for a moment," he assured you, passing you one of the towels from the very front of the stage. "Are you alright? Something serious must have got to you there to get in that state." "I'm fine, I'm sorry," you muttered, looking down to the ground as Jhope stood back up. "I didn't mean to mess up your performance," you continued, unaware of the pout on Jhope's face, as he heard you speak, feeling his heart break. His hand rested gently against your side, giving you a comforting hug, pushing you aside lightly from a group of fans who were particularly loud beside you. "You don't need to apologize. I just want to know that you are alright. The concert is the least of my concerns whenever I spot an army upset. Do you want to tell me a little more about what brought all of this on?" "You don't have to if you don't want to. It's just loud, and a little overwhelming seeing you on the stage," you whispered, still unable to bring yourself to look at him properly. "Concerts are overwhelming for me too, that's something we have in common. You probably think I'm crazy," you frowned, "and now you are being nice because you feel bad for me," you noted, glancing up as his head shook. Anytime he saw a fan upset, it bothered him too. He was supposed to be the bright sunshine that made all of his fans happy, so when he failed in doing that, he was hard on himself too. It didn't matter who the fan was, or where they came from, he always promised he'd make it his mission to make sure that every army was happy. He knew the whole arena was waiting on him. The boys were all confused as they stood up on the stage, and the fans who were around you were beginning to spread rumors that passed back row after row. You felt his arm unwrap around you, looking up to watch him walk away, only for him to come back a few moments later with his water bottle, handing it over to you. You took a few shaky breaths before unscrewing the lid and taking a couple of sips before trying to hand it back to him. "Keep it. I've got plenty more backstage," he assured you, pushing it back in your direction. "Do you need any more to drink? I'm sure I can go and grab a couple of the water bottles if you need me to," he asked you. "No, you've already done enough for me," you softly smiled back at him. "I haven't if you're still worried. I can't perform unless I see you smile properly," he responded, pulling a face at you. "I want everyone to be smiling at my concerts." Once you'd given him a wider smile, you watched as he stepped back on stage and the concert continued. You were still shaky and nervous as the rest of the concert played out, but Jhope's words of comfort stuck with you throughout. As the concert came to an end and the boys began to take their final bow, you watched on as Jhope jumped back down off of the stage again and walked across to you. "I've got a little something that might help you feel less anxious in the future." He placed his microphone down before taking off the wristband that he wore, taking your arm and holding it out so he could slide it onto your wrist. It was far too big for you, hanging down, but still, you were so thankful for the gesture. When you start to panic, or feel the world closing in on you, you just have to take a look at this and know that I'm with you. It doesn't matter where I am in the world, I'll be thinking of you, and I'll want you to be smiling, he told you. You nodded, listening closely to his every word, before securely bringing your arm down to your side so that no one else could see it. "Jhope, thank you for coming to check on me. I might have been a bit of a mess for most of it, but this was the best concert I've ever been to. You are all so talented, and your fans are lucky to have you guys too." He smiled appreciatively, pulling you into another light hug. This time you felt a lot less tense than before, allowing him to feel relaxed knowing that you weren't quite as nervous as you were 3 songs ago. He leant over the barrier, whispering into your ear, "Make sure that you get home safely, and always keep that wristband close to you when you need it." "I will. I promise I'll never let go of it. I'll have it on me always." After smiling at you one last time, Jhope made his way back onto the stage, waving to the crowd of fans before running off the stage with the rest of the boys. As the fans started to file out, they took a few moments, leaning against the barrier where Jhope had stood. The empty water bottle he gave you was placed between your feet. You bent down carefully to pick it up, noticing the small X that was engraved on top of the nail. "I think I'll bring you with me too as a little memento," you whispered, bringing the bottle close into your chest. You glanced up one final time, taking a deep breath in, before letting go of it, spinning on your heels to head home, with 2 items that would allow you to remember the show forever.